are you, love? All right now?
A lot better than all right.
Hey, what happened to you? You look as though you've been paroled or something.
A lot better than that, too. The one thing I've always wanted, more than anything, for the past 20 years. I finally got myself pregnant.
Nora.
No. Just a joke. I'm only old, but I'm no fool. You're nothing but a little thief. You might be the very person I'm looking for. Get off me, I can't hardly breathe, you old bat. If you want to make some real money, I think I've got just the deal for you.
I could still do it, though. Do a proper job on the both of them. Get rid of them once and for all. What I'd need would be the help of another officer.
Yeah, well, I reckon it'd be okay.
Suits your complexion, dear. How about we swap one of your Boy George cassettes for it?
Get out? No way. Anyway, what do I want scarves for?
I just hope Nora can manage. It's not easy to raise a child in prison, you know.
Yeah, well, I reckon it's bloody disgusting. Woman of her age getting up the duff. Thought she was supposed to be a nurse or something. Aren't they supposed to know about the pill?
Oh, what's that got to do with it?
You're missing the point, dear. She wanted to get pregnant.
Oh, she must be loopy. Bloody ankle biters, who needs them?
Here, I've got 3 cigarettes left, if you've got anything tradable.
Give us the fags, I'll get Alice to trade you something later.
Merchandise up front, sorry.
Evening, ladies. Been cleaning up. Is anyone interested in some partly used items? Here you are, Lexi. Got such lovely skin. Pity not to look after it properly.
Gee, thanks.
May? Thought you'd like this.
Whoa! Range, my goodness, this is worth a fortune.
Daphne, this is made from the finest English rose petals.
Thanks. I've never had perfume before.
It's a present for looking after me for the past few days.
Oh, thanks. If you ever need any help, give us a yell.
Oh, sure. It's awful. Never mind, Willie. Maybe next time. You can have your paper back, though. I don't need it anymore.
Well, I'm glad you see things the same way. Losing visiting rights or a week's buy-up is hardly punishment.
Especially when most of them don't have visitors in.
Yeah, we shouldn't be surprised. We know that Reynolds won't support her staff. She's only too eager to listen to the prisoner's side of things.
Oh, I know. That fiasco with you was a prime example. God, I was angry about that. Thank heavens that nun came to the party.
Yes, but it won't change anything. Every time a prisoner gets marked, we're the ones that come under suspicion.
It's too easy for them. They can set any of us up at any time.
Exactly. And I'm going to fix that.
How?
Let's just say that the prisoners aren't the only ones who can frame people. I've managed to have troublemakers sent to other prisoners before.
You're thinking of Desmond and Kelly.
They're troublemakers, aren't they?
But how do we do it?
We simply turn the tables on them. Instead of us bashing them, the story will be the other way around. Except that one of us will have to witness the whole thing.
That goes straight to Blackmore.
Can't see any problem in arranging that, can you?
Well, no, but I...
Teamwork, Terry. That's what it's all about. What do you say?
It's the best plan I've had yet. And it's so simple, it's a dead cert.
Rubbish. It won't work.
Oh, don't be such an old grump. Of course it'll work. All I have to do is give them young rockers a bundle of cash and then pretend to rob them.
The police aren't going to believe that. They'll check up on the kids and they'll know they wouldn't have any money. Certainly not thousands. They're dole bludgers.
They could have won it at the races.
But you're filthy rotten rich, dear. Why would you want to rob a couple of kids?
'Cause I'm an ex-crim.
But you were wrongfully imprisoned. The police wouldn't want to put you inside. You're an embarrassment to them.
Look, if I break the law, they've got to put me back into jail.
Oh, for heaven's sake. I'm sick to death of these stupid ideas. How long do you think it's going to take them to check that you've withdrawn the exact amount that you've stolen?
Oh, that's easy. I'll just withdraw more than I give them. See, you got to remember that us crims are smarter than the average cop.
was a blatant exhibition of industrial sabotage. She deliberately set out to make me look a fool.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a very generous woman. I wish there were a few more like her around here.
You would. Free enterprise, Maeve? Oh. Trouble with you socialists is you don't understand. And you didn't even lift a finger to help me. You just stood there and let them all laugh at me.
Oh, well, you did set yourself up, dear.
Did nothing of the sort.
Oh, come on, you asked for it.
Oh.
The newspaper. Instead of just handing it over gracefully. Oh, no, you have to try and barter with it.
Oh, that's right. It's my fault, isn't it? Well, let me remind you that I wouldn't be reduced to all this petty bargaining if it wasn't for you getting us caught. And why are you so friendly with her? I mean, what's she got that I haven't?
French perfume and style, dear. I wonder if she can get me some wool. Myra's carding is going to take every skein I've got.
You don't give a damn, do you? It's typical. It's never a thought for my problems. No, it's always self.
May I come in?
Sure. What can I do for you?
I brought you these.
I've heard about your handouts. What are you trying to do?
Nothing. I can get the stuff in so I can afford to be generous. No strings attached.
No, thanks. I'm trying to give them up.
I'm not competing for your position if that's what you're worried about.
It's not the position I'm worried about. It's the women that I care about.
That's understandable. But a little bit of makeup isn't going to hurt them, is it? I could help you if you'd let me.
Why?
Call it a friendly gesture.
Go on.
I'm not without influential friends. Shorter sentences can be arranged.
And what would you want in return?
I don't want anything. A woman of your abilities could be very useful in my husband's organization. He pays intelligent people very well.
Forget it. Your husband's organization nearly killed my daughter.
Pardon?
Heroin. I mean, that's what he's all about, isn't it? That's what's bought you the fur coats and the cars and the houses and the cigarettes.
I know that's what the papers say.
Papers be buggered. When it comes to drugs, he's the man, he's the biggest, and everybody knows it.
No. I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't interfere with my husband's work. Myra, I'm sorry about your daughter. But you see, he's my husband. And I love him.
That's fair enough. We'll get along just fine. As long as your handouts don't include drugs.
Made your point.
Good. We understand each other.
What are you still doing in here, Flynn?
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Morris.
Are you all right?
No, but it'll pass.
Would you like me to get Sister to give you something?
No, thanks. No drugs for this baby.
Well, just let me know if you change your mind. I don't want to interfere, but you are aware of the risks involved, aren't you?
In having the baby, you mean?
Yes, because, I mean, if you want to... Well, just because you're in prison doesn't mean to say you have to go through with it.
I want to go through with it.
Yes, I can appreciate
I'm
that.
42 years of age, and that's a bad age to have a first baby. I know the dangers, Mrs. Morris.
Well, you realise the authorities will only allow you to keep
Till
the
she's
baby.
5 years of age, I know. And I still want to go through with it.
Right. Well, I was just trying to help.
Oh, Mrs. Morris. Will I have to go to maternity?
Yes.
You bloody idiot. You nearly scared me to death.
Pretty frightening, aren't I?
Oh, it's time you stopped all this carry-on and started acting your age.
Truth, which is a sense of adventure. And a bit like my friends in the slammer. Oh, damn.
You get some practice in. The banks will be open in a couple of hours.
Stop making fun of me. I've got to get it right so I can get back into Wentworth.
There doesn't seem to be enough room for all my clothes.
Oh, no worries. I'll do it all during my rec period. How about the floor? What if I borrow a mop and...
Why, Miss Ferguson? Nice of you to visit. Did you find what you were looking for?
The cell's a mess, Ballinger.
Isn't it? I was just telling Daphne the same thing. But you needn't worry. It'll be cleaned up before lunch. You can go. I'll see you later.
Got expensive taste, Ballinger.
Why not? I can afford it.
Obviously, you've got the women on side. I mean, normally they'd have a field day with all this junk lying around.
That's all in the way you handle them. Some you can buy, some you can bluff, some... Well, there are ways of fixing the others. I imagine that there are quite a few that you'd like to fix in here.
Keep talking.
Desmond's quite a lady. Got a brain. Well, she must have, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to frame you, would she? But Kelly, well, she wouldn't be a problem at all.
What are you saying, Ballinger?
I'm saying that we can help each other. Crudely, I suppose. But it seems to be the accepted form of communication in here.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought you needed any help. I mean, you just snap your fingers and everything's delivered to your door.
Not always. There are a few little items I'm having difficulty with. Items that could get your friend Desmond into heaps of trouble. Of course, I'd need your help. It's up to you.
Be careful, Ballinger. There are lots of officers who could take that sort of talk the wrong way.
Funny how there's always 8 for sick call every Wednesday morning.
Yes, and usually the same names.
Oh, I see Anderson's on the list. Did she say what's wrong?
Pregnant.
She's been here for 3 years.
I know. Sister Hall's had to do 3 pregnancy tests since Flynn was confirmed.
That's all we need, a prison full of phantom pregnancies. Did you talk to Flynn?
Yes. She's definite about having the baby. Her main problem is being moved to maternity eventually.
Don't blame her. None of the women there will have anything to do with it.
Well, I can't say I blame them.
No, but I've been in touch with Barnhurst, and the truth is she wasn't trying to kill that baby. She was trying to save it. But do you think I can convince our women of that?
Well, what are we going to do with her?
Well, nothing much I can do. Keep her where she is and put her on light duties.
Oh, right. Well, that'll keep you pleased. Well, I'll better move.
Meg, you haven't said anything about yesterday. If you don't want to talk about it, it's all right.
I'm sorry. Well, he was found guilty and sentenced to 6 years hard labour.
Good. You okay?
Yeah. I am, really. I think having Joyce to stay helped. But when I heard that sentence being handed down, that was it. It was over.
Anyone on sick call, get to the infirmary. The rest of you, work.
Oh, sorry. Miss Ferguson, wait.
Don't try
Hey, come on, what's going on?
You're usually more subtle than that, Desmond.
She bumped into me.
Don't lie, Desmond.
I saw what happened, so save your breath.
You're on a charge.
You're both liars. She deliberately bumped into me.
Now you've got a charge for insubordination. Want to try for 3? Anyone object to the charges? Right, what do you stand around for? Get to work.
So much for your favourite top dog.
I don't reckon those charges are fair.
And
Forget it, Lexi, come on.
But you didn't do nothing.
Come on. Okay?
yeah, did very well. Very well indeed.
Well, I put this one, Mrs.
I'll
Morris.
just put it on the floor with all the rest. Daphne will have to sort them out.
Lucky you, eh? Oh, where'd these come from?
Mrs. Ballinger.
What, are they mine? Can I keep them?
Yes, they're all yours. Mrs. Reynolds has okayed for them to be left in your dorm.
Wow, there's so many.
All right. You can do all that during your rec period.
Oh, Mrs. Morris, couldn't I please water them now, just so they know I'll be looking after them from now on, please?
All right, but be quick about it.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Morris. Look, I promise I'll do all my work and I won't take long, okay? I promise.
I believe you.
Oh. Hello, everybody. I'm Daphne. Oh, I'm really pleased to meet you.
There you go, love. All fixed. Now, if you have any problems, just give us a yell.
Thank you, Inspector. Did I say Inspector? I'm sorry. It's just that you remind me of someone. It's Terry, isn't it?
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. See you.
Oh, Ruth. Oh, thanks for the plants. I promise I'll look after them and anything you want me to do for you ever.
Stop. It's all right. I'm glad you like them.
Oh, they're really great.
What are you doing here, Graham? Why aren't you in the laundry?
She came to thank me for some plants I'd given her.
Is that so? When you're on a charge, you should have done that in the rec period. In future, you stay in the designated areas. Now, get out.
Very impressive. You do take your work seriously, don't you?
Yes.
I imagine women like Myra Desmond must really irk you. The offer's still open to fix her, you know.
I'll think about it.
Well, good as Spunk. Come here often?
Well, only in the wet weather.
Well, he's open for a bit more rain then, eh?
What do you think you're up to, Patterson?
Just come to collect the dirty linen, Miss Ferguson.
Well, you've just collected yourself a charge for malingering.
But I wasn't doing anything wrong, was I?
You weren't doing anything, period. You're just born lazy.
Oh, you can talk. All you do is walk around the joint giving everyone the bloody irrits.
Thank you, Patterson. You've just copped yourself another charge. Now get on with it before I see you in solitary. And if you've quite finished, I'll take you back to the governor.
Oh, good. You're right on time.
Yeah, well, you know how life is. Pressure.
Well, you got the money.
So I've got the money.
Yeah, well, hand it over, doll. We ain't got all day.
Now, you take the money home and leave it somewhere obvious, and I break in at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, love, that's our address.
Oh, right, thanks. Now, when I break in, you call the cops, reporting a burglary. Then I dash out into the street, making a desperate attempt to escape. You got it?
Yeah, we've got it all right. See you, Gran.
Hey, hang on, you can't go yet. We haven't synchronised our watches.
You're a lucky girl, Daphne. Obviously, Mrs. Ballinger's taken a shine to you. You better get in the good books, Nora. Prams are expensive these days.
You know, they really are the most beautiful plants I've ever seen. The Monstera's got the biggest leaves.
Oh, great. Just what I've always wanted, a huge leafy monster to go to bed with.
Daffy, would you like to trade something for a couple of your plants?
Oh, no, I couldn't. See, their family. I've already baptised them.
Yeah, we'll just make sure none of them spread their roots into my territory.
Shouldn't you be scrubbing the floors somewhere? Worried about the charges,
I'm just fed up with the freak always picking on me.
There's always someone eager to put the boot in.
Yeah, and it always seems to connect with me. All my life I've copped thumpings and I've hardly ever done anything wrong.
Well, maybe it's time that you asked yourself why people pick on you, eh? Well, maybe you're the reason without realising it.
Yeah, maybe. Then again, maybe I'm just jinxed.
That good, eh?
No visitors, no phone calls for a month. Oh, bloody hell. If Reno's in that sort of mood, imagine what I'm going to cop.
Yeah, well, hopefully she's taken it all out on me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Well, that's okay.
No, it's not. You're expecting a visit from Jeff and Jude this week. How are you going to know if they found Kate? Look, I'll tell you what. If my phone calls aren't suspended, I'll give them a ring.
Thanks, love. I've been keeping it warm for you.
Ta.
Didn't have your work cut out. Both sides stabbing at you.
Last thing I expected was the freak to team up with another screw.
It sort of puts the odds in their favour, especially with Reynolds being less than sympathetic to your position.
You're not telling me a thing I don't already know.
I heard you were looking for me.
Yes. Why don't you come in?
Nah, freak's on the prowl. I'm not copping a charge.
Yes, she does seem to be handing them out today.
Well, what do you want?
To apologise. I shouldn't have hit you the other day, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm missing my husband and I tend to get a bit touchy.
Fair enough.
There is something else I wanted to talk to you about.
What?
Is it safe to talk out here?
Yeah?
Well, would you be interested in doing something for me?
Well, it depends.
It's not going to get you into trouble, and I'll make it worth your while.
Like what?
I want the names of everyone soon to be released, but I only want to know about the young, attractive ones.
Oh, sure. Patterson and Graham don't have long to go in this block. There's quite a few in D block.
Good. Get me a list as soon as you can. You're going to use them as pros or drug running? That's none of your business. What is the situation with drugs in here?
Well, there ain't none. Visitors can sometimes get them in. Desmond's got a nose for them. No dice as far as she's concerned.
But if the grass came in, would there be a market?
Oh, you bet.
And the hard stuff?
Look, the girls in here are desperate for anything. You get it in and I'll flog it for you.
Good.
But you've got to get it round Desmond.
But if it's only harmless grass, she can't object, can she?
She will.
Well, I'll have to convince her it's good for the women, won't I?
Ballinger, the governor will see you now. And you two after lunch.
Fingers crossed.
Who says all rich bitches are up themselves, eh?
Yeah, who?
Oh, forget it, Daffy.
Mind if I run this up your arm?
Pardon?
For the cardie?
Sure.
Not that it'll make any difference. She gets the inches and centimetres mixed up.
I hear your friend Kelly was asking the women a lot of questions this morning.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Like who was due for release, who's in the market for grass, that sort of thing.
Had to happen sooner or later. Too many new faces not to tempt her back into business.
Setting up an outside contact, do you think?
London to a brick.
She never mentioned the hard stuff, so that's something.
It doesn't matter what the label is, it's still dope and that's still trouble.
I can't see the harm in a little bit of grass, Myra. In moderation.
Kelly doesn't know the meaning of the word. The only way to deal with dope is to ban it altogether. That way everyone knows exactly where they stand.
Right, if that's the way it is, I'm right behind you. What are you going to do, try and scare her off?
Yeah. Suppose I'll have to. These gentlemen tell me the telephone's now ready for use.
And this is the handing over of the key ceremony, correct?
It's not quite that simple, Mrs. Ballinger, if I may. We made a deal. Remember? We get some names and you get the key.
I remember saying I'd think about it. I don't recall it being a condition.
That phone can come out just as easily as it went in, Mrs. Ballinger. Plus all of your other little comforts.
That's right. And we can still make things difficult for you over those drug charges.
That's not the version my lawyer gave me.
Are you going to cooperate with the police or not?
Why not? I'll give them 2 names, 1 each.
Come off it. You must be able to rattle off a good dozen without even thinking.
Not for a few luxuries and 1 telephone, I can't. It has got ISD, hasn't it?
Just give them the names.
Let's start with Mickey Bentwell. And then there's Jerry Galano, also known as Gigi, or the horse, as we like to call him. Try the South Wharf at 8 o'clock tonight. I hear there's a shipment of laundered money coming in from Hong Kong. The key?
For a couple of small-time operators like those two, you'll have to do better than that, Mrs. Ballinger.
I don't have to do anything. Who knows? I might be able to remember some names later on, after I've had use of the phone.
Don't be too long remembering, eh?
I needn't remind you of the penalty for allowing any other women to use that phone.
Penalties, Mrs. Reynolds? I wouldn't say that too loudly in front of these 2 gentlemen if I were you. They might think you're not looking after me.
While you're under my jurisdiction, you'll be subject to the same penalties and punishments as everyone else. Is that clear?
Whatever you say.
Would you ask Mrs. Morris to come in, please?
I'll be expecting those names.
Take Ballinger back, would you, Mrs. Morris?
This way, Ballinger.
God, the woman's making fools of all of us.
The main thing is we're making some progress. You mind if I make a call?
Why not? Everyone else is.
No, I'm not kidding. Plants really do take on the personalities of the people you name them after. It's got something to do with the vibrations that go with the name or something. Yeah, and who told you this little bit of trivia, eh? I saw it on TV, I think. It was one of them nature shows. Hey, I'm going to name my monsteria after you, Auntie May. Oh, you're famous.
Well, thanks, love. I've never had a monsteria named after me before.
And I'm going to name one after Ruth, too.
Yeah, well, if you've got one of those fly trap things, don't call it Joan Burgers.
Hey, duckface. I thought I told you to keep the jungle on your side of the dorm.
I had to do something with them. I didn't think you'd mind.
Well, I do mind. So shift them. Brian.
Never mind her, love. She's just jealous, that's all.
Where are you going?
Somewhere I don't have to keep hearing about Miss Queen of the Nile, that's where. Speak of the devil.
Can't stand honest competition. That's her trouble.
How'd you go? All booked up. Oh, I'll be happy to pass on messages to anyone in the outside world if anyone's interested.
I thought I'd seen everything. Congratulations.
I'll get your lunch for you, Ruth.
Don't bother, I had something to sell on the way back.
Did you manage to get a chance to put in a word for Daffy and me?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did. And it was like talking to a brick wall. I pushed, but she wouldn't listen. She threatened to put me on a charge if I kept pushing. I'm sorry.
Thanks anyway.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie, son. Maybe I should have had one more go.
No, you did all you could. Quite frankly, I don't think it should have been left to you in the first place.
At last, I've caught you alone. I had to wait because I've only got 2.
What are you talking about?
Ta-ra!
What's this in aid of?
You're looking at Wentworth's newest bachelor. My divorce came through.
Well, you must be a very happy man.
Well, that depends on a certain lady friend of mine and whether or not she'd still like that drink at my place tonight.
She's making it sound as though I was asking him for a lift out of you or something. I was just being friendly.
Miss Ferguson says she gave you a specific instruction to move along and you disobeyed it. Is that true or not?
Well, yeah, but I mean...
Thank you, Patterson. And you'll have to learn that when an officer gives you an instruction, you follow it. Not treat it as a casual suggestion. Do you understand?
I was just thanking
Yes
Ruth...
or no?
Answer the governor.
Yes.
You're relatively new to Wentworth, so I think a week's loss of telephone privileges will be enough warning for you not to do it again. Not if you want to keep those plants in your dormitory. I cannot and will not tolerate insolence. You'll lose an extra 2 weeks buy-up after the others get theirs back.
2 weeks for just talking to someone?
Mind your tongue, Patterson.
Take them back, please, Mrs. Slattery. That'll be all, Miss Ferguson.
Governor, I really must protest. Those penalties you've just handed out are hardly a deterrent. I thought we were supposed to be cracking down on discipline.
We are.
Oh, yes, by letting prisoners off with a warning or giving them private telephone lines.
Any official complaints about the telephone can be made directly to the department. They arranged to have it installed. I'll take it there for you myself, if you like. As for the crackdown, I warned you that I wouldn't have officers taking advantage of it to intimidate prisoners.
If you're insinuating
I expect all charges laid to be fully justified.
Yes, Governor.
Now, if there's nothing else...
Naturally, I thought I should let my lawyer know first.
And how private is this telephone of yours?
Let's just say it's not as private as one would like.
Company?
Can't have everything. I thought I'd bring Brazil tonight, see how Arnie is. Seems a good way to kill a few hours, especially as the government's picking up the tab.
Well, it's nice to see them caring so much about their prisoners' welfare.
My sentiments exactly. I have a few phone calls to make, so I'll get in touch with you later.
Fine.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Boys, you better tell your chiefs to keep their wallets open. There's going to be quite a phone bill.
Geez, I don't reckon it's very fair that she's taken away your buy-up again, Lex. You know, I suppose I should be grateful she didn't hang me up by my thumbs. Talk about the freak's twin sister.
If it had been the freak, you would have been hung up by your neck. They're not giving us an inch.
Oh, what's a few lousy biscuits?
You poor dear. Perhaps I could help you with a few
Oh,
things.
back in business, are we, dear?
I'm offering the girl a shoulder to lean on, which is more than you're doing.
Anything in the way of new governors?
Oh.
Look, if we just keep our heads and don't invite trouble, she'll come good. Reno just wants to know that she can trust us again.
None of this would have happened if it wasn't for that stupid plan to get the freak.
As I recall, at the time, you were right behind the idea. Very bloody easy to be wise after the event, isn't it?
Best laid plans, love.
Look, I accept responsibility for blowing it, and I'm sorry for the hassles it's caused. But I'm damned if I'm going to spend the rest of my time in here apologising for it.
Looks like the only one doing anything about it's Ruth.
Yeah, and look where that's got you. Now, the best thing we can do is to lie low. That way, the screws haven't got a chance to throw their weight around.
You're the boss?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you manage to corner Lou about the drugs?
I can't be everywhere at once.
Well, I just thought you might have had a
Look,
chance.
I said I would look into it, and I will, in my own good time. Okay?
Hello?
Hi.
Timmy, nice to see you again.
Hello, Mrs. Reynolds.
You decided to join our shopping expedition, have you?
Not exactly. I bumped into Pippa at the chemist's while I was getting Nana's medicine.
I've been trying to talk her into coming along for the last 10 minutes.
I'd love to, really. But I'm afraid Nana will be worrying where I've got to.
Ring her, tell her you'll be late.
I'm sure she'd understand.
Oh, you don't know, Mrs. Reynolds. She gets terribly upset if I leave her alone for too long.
A couple of hours.
Another time. The invitation to dinner still stands, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I better go. I told her I'd met you again. She wondered if you could come over for afternoon tea tomorrow. If you can spare the time.
Sounds lovely. Thank you.
Yes, sure. She'll be thrilled. I'll ring and confirm a time. See you both later. Bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
Should have bought coal for the old biddy, not medicine. 8 years down the track and she's still the same old dragon.
She's a sick woman, for heaven's sake.
Not letting Jenny forget it either. Come on, you heard for yourself. She can't leave the house for 5 minutes without causing an international incident.
Perhaps she's exaggerating. We're not to know. I've only met the woman once, but she was charming.
Yeah? Is it her personality you remember? Or her social standing?
Her personality, of course. Now, let's change the subject, shall we?
Oh, hey, Anne, I was only kidding. Come on, let's order. Remember you used to tell me how irritable I got when I was hungry?
If you come to borrow a cup of sugar, I'm all out.
I've been told you're asking questions, Callie. About dope.
Maybe I have, and maybe I haven't.
What's the scan? Not that I can't guess.
I've been doing some research on my thesis, haven't
Don't play me for a fool, Callie. I'm not in the mood.
You're not in the mood for anything much lately, are you? Except your usual huffing and puffing.
Listen to me. Now, I don't give a damn what you or anyone else thinks about me, but there's going to be no dope in here, and that is final.
Don't give me that crap, Desmond. You're living in the past. Things have changed around here, and you're just not keeping up with the times.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're not giving the girls what they want. That's what. All that bull about copping at Sweden, keeping our noses clean. Anyone would reckon you're working for the department or something.
You know the score with Reno.
I know your score with Reno, and it's a big fat 0. Ballinger's cleaning up around here. You can't even get in the door. Now, what do you reckon the girls are going to think about that, eh?
I'm still top dog. And until the women vote otherwise, no dope.
Yeah? Well, I'll pass the message on to Alice and Kath. But I wouldn't plan on making a big impression. Because the only muscle you got around here is the sound of your own voice.
You're a bloody fool, Callie. Now, the harder you pull against me, the harder it's going to be for both of us to get the freak off our backs.
Yeah? Well, after what I saw this morning, I reckon she's only interested in you, sport. Best of luck.
Excuse me, Reverend.
Can I help you?
Is this number 122?
Yes, who are you looking for?
Tell me, what time is it?
It's 3 o'clock. Is there some problem?
Our arrangements. The money. My confession.
Oh, confession. Well, you have come to the right place then. If you'll just follow me inside, I'm sure we can set this whole thing straight for you.
Jennifer, I was worried about you.
Sorry it took so long, Nana.
You know how lonely I get on my own, and it isn't good for me.
I got your medicine for you.
Not that it'll do much good, I'm sure. The pain has been simply awful today. I can hardly move.
Well, you better have some anyway. You know what the doctor said.
Why don't you tell me about your shopping trip instead? It'll make me forget how dreadful I feel.
If you like.
Yeah. And you wouldn't mind tidying up a little while you talk, would you, dear? Save you doing it later. And you know how I hate a mess.
I ran into Pippa Reynolds again at the shopping centre with her mother. They both said they can come tomorrow for afternoon tea.
How nice. But I can't have them come to call in this dreary old room. You'd better organise the drawing room instead.
Are you sure you're up to it? What about the stairs?
One has to make sacrifices for the social niceties, Jennifer. Well, get on with it, don't stop.
They asked me over for dinner one night.
And?
I said I'd try and arrange it.
But I'll have no one to talk to. It's so lonely here without you. And what if I have another of my turns?
It'll be all right. I'll organise someone to come over.
I see. I'm not important enough to have my own flesh and blood look after me. Reduced to the mercies of a paid babysitter.
That's not true, Nana. I just need to get out of this house once in a while. I'll see some of my friends.
If you don't love me anymore, why don't you just come out and say so?
Oh, Nana, of course I love you. Look, we'll talk about it afterwards, all right?
If I feel up to it. Now, be a good girl and pass me those chocolates. Heaven knows I need something to jolly myself up.
Can I get you anything else?
No, not just now, thank you. But I would like to hear you play.
Could it wait till after dinner? I'm a bit tired with all that walking.
Now, Jennifer, we mustn't be selfish. I didn't buy that grand piano so it could lie idle and collect dust. Did I?
All right, Nana.
I often think what a pity it is that your poor mother never knew what a fine pianist her daughter would grow into.
Sorry, Nana.
Those ones with the ticks by their names are the ones you already know, like Patterson and Graham.
Seems thorough enough. You look uncomfortable. Why don't you sit down?
Sure. Not bad. Must be really something sleeping on one of these every night.
It's adequate. Did anyone ask you what the information was for?
Oh, just Desmond. But she's yesterday's news anyway.
What did you say?
Well, I kept my mouth shut. Just like you told me.
Good. This stuff's worth $50 an ounce in Paris.
Thanks.
Something the matter?
Well, don't get me wrong, but it's just that I don't reckon I'm the perfume type, that's all.
So, sell it to someone who is.
Yeah, smart thinking. So what happens now?
That's my business. Just make sure you forget this meeting ever took place.
Look, listen, if you need someone for
If I need you, I'll send for you.
Whatever you say.
Oh, and you've got a telegram.
Oh, I must have missed it on the way in. It's addressed to you.
Yep. It's from Simon. He really misses me. Love you too, darling. Great.
Pippa, you can't seriously mean to go on with this.
And why not?
He's a married man with children, for goodness sake. Have you thought how they must be feeling? Abandoned at the drop of a hat like that? What about you? He could turn around and do exactly the same to you.
Look, I know what you're saying. But his marriage was on the rocks long
That's
before
what he told you,
All
is
right.
it?
Ask him when he arrives.
No, I'll tell her as soon as she gets back. Be around 8-ish. Okay? No, ta-ra.
Norm Barry again?
Poor bloke doesn't know whether he's Arthur or Martha. Well, it was time I was treading the boards.
Oh, have a look up in solitary on your way, will you?
I thought Terry was seeing
No,
that.
I had to send her over to maternity to help. Not that she was too keen on the idea.
It's not like our Terry.
No, she always seemed a bit edgy. Mumbled something about having to talk to Joan first. Though heaven knows why anyone would go out of their way to do that.
I'll make it my first port of call.
Seems to me you've taken a bit of a slide in the popularity polls, Desmond. You know, without your old cronies around to keep the numbers up.
I wouldn't believe everything you heard.
Oh, I don't have to be told, Desmond. You see, I can sense it, smell it in the air, especially since I got my faculties back. It wasn't very charitable of you, Desmond, taking advantage of a sick person like that.
You would have been the first in line if the same thing had happened to me.
Well, maybe we've got something in common after all. No, I suppose not. See, Desmond, I don't have any trouble keeping my position on top. But you're losing your grip. In fact, I'd say that you were shaky enough to drop that tray. And to cop a charge for resisting the officer who told you to clean it up. Oh, Desmond, now look what you've done. I'd say your position's looking worse by the second.
Come off it, Ferguson. You haven't got a hope of making it stick. Not with Reno gunning for you as much as she is for me.
Ah, but that's where you're wrong. Because you see, this time I've taken the precaution of organising a witness. The most reliable kind. A fellow officer. Oh, she'll be here, Desmond. Terry Malone is the most punctual officer I know. You lousy bitch! Yeah, come on, Desmond, land one on me. Save me the trouble of faking it. And if I were you, I'd start rehearsing the farewell speech, too. Although you might not have time to use it before they ship you off to the black hole.
What? What's going on here?
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too. When morning comes around, last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside, the roses grow. They don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too. When morning comes around.